Hello, everyone. Coach Sullivan here with you again. Quickly, my background. My 38th year coaching football, I've either been defensive, offensive, or special teams coordinator, as well as the head coach at both the collegiate and high school levels for all 38 years. Today, I wanted to talk to you, or continue to talk to you about our Plug Family Blitz package. This one here is going to involve what we call a cross stunt, so I'll explain all of that. But again, at MJS Coaching Football, if you have any questions, please reach out to me at coachmjsullivan@gmail.com, as it says on the slide. All right, so this is out of our 3-4 base front we call 50. And again, anything that begins with the letter B is the backer. So red is the primary blitzer. Green is involved in the blitz. And in this case, it's only one other defender or defensive lineman, the nose. Okay? So for us, the B signifies the backer. X in the name signifies it's a cross, meaning opposite A gap, cross stunt. We will tag X to other blitzes, which tells the inside linebacker on the side of the call to blitz the opposite A gap. Okay, so it stays consistent throughout the different families that we have. And again, small, we use coffee sizes. Small is for a 4-man pressure, and that's as much as I'm going to say relative to the coverage. That's a whole separate presentation. So for us, again, as I've mentioned, the blitz call is the Lucky Ringo call. It's made to the backer, in this case, by the backer. As I've said many times, if we don't know who the backer is, if the backer doesn't know who the backer is, then we got bigger fish to fry. So, okay. So what happens here is if the backer's on the right, he says Ringo. If he's on the left, he says Lucky. I mean, boom, done. The nose is taught that the backer is blitzing the opposite A gap, so therefore, if you hear Ringo, he's blitzing the left gap, so you have to go to the call. Okay, again, it's very, very simple. The nose just needs to know what gap is being blitzed, so that teaches him whether he goes to the call or away, and that's all he needs to know. Okay? So the nose is going to go to the call, the right A gap. In this case, our backer is going to blitz the opposite A gap. So again, to just reiterate, B gap to B gap, A, B, tackle to tackle. We're not reinventing the wheel. And in this case, it's an inside linebacker blitzing. And in this case, what is meant by automatic readout will involve the following. First of all, we've been talking about near edge reads. So that's the guard that you're on. In this case, it's what we call a far edge read, and that is the center. Since we have to cross the face of the center, we read the far edge, the opposite shoulder. Okay, so this shoulder here, that's the far edge read. We already have the staggered stance. We're not changing that. Okay, but what will happen is there'll be a bit of a crossover step, which we're okay because we don't want any false steps. So the play side foot will cross over as you're digging off the up toe, which is the inside foot, okay, which immediately puts your body in position to read the far edge of the center and see the guard, okay? So first things first, let's just assume the guard is working up the field, doing anything but coming back toward the backer, okay? So the far edge read is working with the direction, then you're going to get across the face of the center. If the far edge is working back towards you, but the guard's not pulling towards you, then you got to be ready to bend. Okay, you got to protect the backside A gap. Okay? As you're blitzing, if that guard is in fact coming to you, and this is what we say, if the guard's involved in a scoop, then read out. We just want to keep it simple. So if this far edge is working to you and so is the guard, then you're going to read out. So it'll be a crossover, one, plant, redirect back into the C gap. Okay? So that's what's meant by the readout. If that guard is working away from the backer up the field, then he's going to keep going. The guard is coming toward the backer in any way, okay, he is going to read out. So, but the problem, you got to be careful. If it's a down block double team and they're going to be running up in here, then that's where you got to teach your inside linebacker the difference between a scoop and a down block. So depending on how schooled up and how much experience your backers have, if they don't have a lot, then we say he has to be pulling to you to read out. We're going to take the gamble, okay? Otherwise, if your kid's very skilled, then you can teach them the difference with the head placement and so forth between a double team and a scoop. All right, but more often than not, they can't differentiate and they'll play slow. So it has to be a pull to him in order to read out. And again, he should be getting a pull call anyway. And so our defensive end on the call side, studs playing the B gap as they do in base, as is the end. Okay, so if he continues through with the blitz and doesn't read out, then between the dime who has orbit support, the stack who's also in support, as well as the linebacker who knows he doesn't have to worry about meeting the mic, the A or the B, he can also kind of fill inside out to that other C gap. Okay, so this is run typically when we're going to get a lot of runs opposite the backer, so usually to the tight end side versus 11 personnel or 21. We're trying to immediately add an extra blocker and beat any type of scheme, scoop, or otherwise to cut off backside linebacker. That's why we would run this. When we're doing our install, we install Baxter as well as the complementary Max, which is the same stunt, only now it's the Mike M crossing, same readout, everything's the same. So typically an install on day one, we'll install Bill and Mick, right? Bob and Monty, and Baxter and Max all in the same day. Get our single four-man pressures installed in the same day because you're really installing only three. Okay, they're blitzing each A gap and the B gap. Boom, done. All right. So as always, please, you have any questions, please reach out to me at Coach MJ Sullivan at gmail.com. Sorry, I got a little bit of a cold here. And I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And please make it a great day.